Hey, it's Yesenia from Girlpreneur Essentials, and this video is actually a replay of the Instagram live that I had last night. So we went and talked about hashtags, we talked about content, we talked about audience, we talked about packaging, we talked about a little bit about websites. We went in, so it's almost 2 hours long. Grab a notebook and enjoy. There are lots of questions to start off today, so thanks everyone for joining in. For those of you who are not sure or who this is your first live, I'm Yesenia. I'm the CEO and founder of Girlpreneur Essentials. I'm so excited to be here with you, and let me know if this is your first live so I can give you a shout out and just properly welcome you. But thank you, Dorshane. I'm good. I'm really good. Oh my gosh, first time from the UK. Welcome. So excited to have you. Yeah, so even if it's not your first time, let me know where you're coming in from. I'd love to know. I always think it's so exciting when everyone is coming in from different places. So awesome. We have Hypnotic Skincare, Mukaru Cosmetics, Chrissy, hey Milky Co, Deconned Lips, Drippin' Glossy, awesome. A lot of first timers here. Hi, is it Anaya? That's so amazing. Hey everyone. Hi, Chicago, cool. I'm in Guadalajara right now in Mexico, from Jamaica, Florida, Texas, yay. Hi, Lala. Yeah, so I just want to get right in. We have lots of questions to answer, and I'm really excited to have you all here. So if you have any questions related to business, related to Instagram, related to building your brand, go ahead and drop them down below. If you want to go ahead and put it in the little questions icon that should be down here so that I can definitely get to it. But I'm so happy to have you all here. Hi, Luscious Dreams. Hi, Nick XO Collections. Hey everyone from Cali. I'm also from California too. So exciting to have you here. Charlotte, Kansas City, Philadelphia, Toronto. Awesome. So let's go ahead and get into this first question. So this is from Lip Magic by Ali Cooley. She asks, I keep creating new things and feel that all my old items are getting left in the dark. I'm unsure of how to fix this. Would love to hear some tips and tricks on how to sell older products. So that's a really good question, because when you have a line of products, you want to make sure that you're consistently rotating them in your marketing plan. Meaning you don't always want to just be posting about the newer products, but keep your older products in line, and that could mean either you post reviews, that could mean you post customer pictures, that could mean you post the process of you making it, but to keep it to not leave them in the dark, Ali said, you really want to make sure that they're integrated into a marketing plan, right? Your content, you should be planning your content out in terms of okay, what do I want to sell today, basically, what's new, what hasn't gotten purchased in a while, how can I offer things differently? That is all part of marketing, right? It's getting it into a hey everyone, the part of marketing is making it so it's not old and that it feels fresh every time you introduce it. So let's say you're addressing, you have different pain points of that a product solves. Speak to those pain points and speak to them in a new way. If you can make a joke out of them, or I love using memes, but definitely rotate the way that you're marketing your products, and don't just focus on one product, but try to schedule in multiple products in your week. So I'm a huge fan of scheduling posts. That's the only way I actually post. So it's never actually me physically posting things. It's always an app. So I highly recommend that, because you can also see what it looks like all throughout the week, which is really helpful too. And then The next question is 3 tips to turn your leads into sales. I absolutely love this question from Posh the Brand. How to turn leads into sales, I look at it more as like a long-term strategy, but basically the first thing you want to do to turn a lead is like someone who's interested in your product, right? So a lead could either be someone who calls you on the phone, a lead could be someone who's on your email list. Those are all leads, right? And how do you turn them into sales? Well, you have to market to them consistently, and marketing is like speaking to their pain points, right? Like communicating to them in a way that they feel like, wow, Posh the Brand really understands what I'm going through, or, oh my God, I love this look that Posh the Brand just put together. I need to go get that. Like, you want to speak to that lead as if you're their like best friend and they can trust you. And so that's the first step of getting sales, right? Like know, like, and trust. So to get people to know you, you first have to get them to either follow you or subscribe to your email list. The way that I like to do this is by providing a lot of value up front so that people can really know, like, oh, okay, like she knows what she's talking about, right? So if let's say you're in the business of selling candles, and your candles are made out of like soy wax, and your whole mission with this brand is to get people to relax and understand the importance of self-care. Before someone buys your candles, you want to demonstrate to them that you know what their life is like. Meaning you can post content that's like, take a break, you've been working all day, or 5 reasons why self-care is a must, or how to integrate self-care into your day when you're fully busy. Like, these kinds of pieces of content speak to this lead and demonstrate to them that you know what you're talking about, so that when they buy your candles, they're already pre-sold. Like, they already know, and they've already felt like a calming vibe from you. Does that make sense? Give me some hearts if that makes sense. But basically, you are all experts in whatever product you sell. Whatever experience you're giving to someone, you're an expert in. So you have to demonstrate your expertise to them through your content, which is what I genuinely am like such an advocate for, because there's so much more that you're doing than just selling products. Like, once you understand that, then the content ideas just keep flowing, because you're like, wow, I'm really changing people's lives, I'm really improving people's lives, and it's time to go do it. Like, there's a whole mission behind your brand than just selling products. So definitely build the relationship. It's a longer term thing rather than just like a one-time sale. Like, definitely try to build relationships with your audience so that you can continue it out with them throughout their whole journey of being a customer. But really great question. So tips with expanding your product line as a solo entrepreneur. So this is from tropicology.co. So tips with expanding your product line, I would focus on a really, really specific niche. So say you sell body butters, right? I wouldn't go and try to expand it to like clothing. I would keep it like in that particular niche, like body care, right? So if you sell body butter, then I would go to a body scrub. Then I would go to like a lotion. Then I would go to a serum. Then I would these are all things that are in your space, but you aren't reaching too far outside of it, because that could be really dangerous. Like if Girlpreneur Essentials started selling like cooking utensils, right? Like that would just not resonate at all. So you really want to make sure that you're staying inside your niche and giving your customers similar things to what you're already providing for them. Let me know if that makes sense, but a tip for that is to also survey your audience. Like ask them what they want. Do they, give them a little quiz of 4 options or 3 options, and ones that you can easily manage and ones that aren't going to be outside of your brand. And then I see a question here. Hey everyone, I see a question from Sincerely Day. What app do you use to schedule posts? I use Sked Social. It's SKED Social. I've used that like the whole time, because I'm a huge fan of carousel posts, and I couldn't find another app that would let me post carousel posts. So Sked Social, I love that one. How to attract possible customers instead of other business pages. So what that tells me is whenever someone tells me I only attract business owners, it lets me know that you're actually using hashtags that only business owners follow. Meaning maybe you're using like hashtag lip gloss or hashtag body butter or hashtag, soy wax candles, like other business owners follow that hashtag. So what you really want to do is say, okay, what kind of person am I really trying to attract? And then use hashtags related to that person, because it's very unlikely that your target audience is following hashtag lip gloss obsession. It's much more likely that they're following a hashtag that's related to their life and their life experience. So that's why it's really, really important to know who you're trying to attract. Otherwise, you'll only use product-oriented hashtags, and that'll just get you more business owners as followers. Wow, hey everyone. I'm struggling with marketing. Do you have any tips to stay active and how to get good content out? Absolutely. I got a lot of questions about content, and my biggest recommendation is to use one day of the week to make content for the rest of it. Meaning you want to, I like to use Sundays, or I like to use either Saturday or Sunday, and then I like to go into Canva and just make tons of content. And I like to use the strategy of empowering, entertaining, and educational posts. Meaning, if I just posted something that was empowering, I'm like, okay, what can I teach? Or if I posted something that I just taught something, I'm like, okay, how can I entertain? Or if I haven't, and then I post a promotional thing, right? I'll speak to a pain point. So what is an example of that? Okay, so recently, was this today or yesterday? So I posted, yesterday, it's that SpongeBob meme of him just sitting there waiting, right? That's a pain point of when you're waiting for your products to sell, and you're waiting for it to sell itself, right? That is a pain point. And so by matching it with a meme, and then in the captions, saying okay, here's the call, this is what you should do if you're that person waiting for your product to sell themselves. That is speaking to a pain point and speaking to a relative life experience that our target audience is in. So I think about, okay, well, what is their life like, right? What's going on in their life? How can I make them laugh? How can I teach them something relevant to the brand, relevant to what we're offering them? But that's why it's the more you understand your audience, the easier it is to create content, because it's you're speaking to a friend at that point. You're no longer just speaking to some random, you're not just posting your random product pictures or using random hashtags. You're speaking to a very, very clear person. And once you have that person in your mind, if you've seen the Target Audience Masterclass and you have the workbook, you know that on the customer avatar worksheet, I encourage you to name your target audience, give them a name, because the more you personify them and the more you make them a real person, the easier it is to attract them. And I'm not just talking spiritually, yes, that too, but the easier it is to attract them with your content, the easier it is to attract them with your hashtags and all that, and with your bio. Everything stems from knowing them very, very thoroughly. Super good questions, everyone. Hey. Okay, great. I'm glad that it makes sense. Yes, Sked Social. Thank you so much. Hey everyone, and let me know. I think I could get you a 20% off your first month if you're interested. So yeah, how to get ideas to create content for the whole week. Definitely sit down and then plan it from educate and entertain and empower, and then think promotional. How can I get into their life? How can I place my brand as the solution to one of their problems? Or how can I place my products as a lifestyle that attracts them? Let's see. That's a really good question though. Okay, this is another one. This is a really good one. So when first starting a business, should we sell multiple products at once or just one or two? Absolutely, just start with one, because once you get one down, then you can be okay, now I'm going to expand to two. Once you get that second one selling five times a day or 10 sales a day, that's when you want to move to another one. The mistake I see a lot of girlpreneurs making is releasing a product and it doesn't sell, and then they're okay, let me release another product, and that one doesn't sell, and they're okay, let me try to release another product and get this one to sell. But no, don't move on until you have a consistent strategy that's working for one product. Because if it's working for one product and you apply the same strategy, it's going to work for the second one. So it doesn't really matter. People aren't going to, if your target audience isn't that Sorry, I lost the. Okay, so if your target audience is feeling heard and feeling understood and feeling seen and feeling like that your brand is really for them, it doesn't matter like how many products you have, because they're like, wow, this whatever they're going to give me, I want it, right? Like Girlpreneur Essentials, we didn't start with we don't even have that many products now because we're not trying to overwhelm ourselves. We're just like mastering one thing and moving on to the next. So I advise you to start with a product that your audience is most passionate, like you have most passion to sell this product, because I actually almost made the mistake of selling a product that I was in love with, but selling to a person that I had no care for. Meaning, I almost started a pet brand, okay? So I almost sold pet products because I love dogs. Like I genuinely am obsessed with dogs. But I have no care, no desire, no passion to serve the pet owner. Does that make sense? So I almost started selling a product because I loved it, but I didn't think about the person that was going to buy it. So before you sell a product, always think about the person that's going to buy it and how you can improve their life. Awesome. Hey everyone. Hey Candy's Cosmetics. Hey. Okay, so can you target more than one audience at a time, if that's a thing? Okay, so the way that I like to explain having a target audience is like an umbrella, right? So you have an umbrella and that's your target audience. And then underneath that target audience, there are different avatars, meaning there are different types of people. Stay with me because hold on. So we have an umbrella here, and then there are different people under that umbrella that all are your target audience, but they have different lives. Like their lives look differently. Here's what I mean. Girlpreneur Essentials target audience are female identifying business owners who sell their products online. Okay, so under that audience, then we have a student, we have a mother, we have a working woman who does her business on the side, and then our fourth avatar is like one who's a combination. So maybe she's a student and she's a mom, or maybe she's a working woman and she's a student. So we have different understandings of what those four avatars look like. And then under that, we also know, okay, some of them sell lip gloss, some of them sell candles, some of them sell soaps. Like they even sell different products under that. But what's really important, Candy's Cosmetics, is that all of our avatars, all of our understandings, they want the same thing from the brand. Meaning they want like the same transformation. It's not like one of our avatars wants, a master class and the other one wants like cooking utensils, right? Like that, I'm gonna use that same analogy, but like everyone wants the same thing from Girlpreneur Essentials, which is sales and Instagram growth and marketing strategy, right? Like everyone wants the same thing. So as long as they want the same thing, then they're in our target audience, they're under that umbrella. Let me know if that makes sense, but you can have definitely like one audience, but then under that have different understandings of who those people really are. It sounds like you might be interested in the Target Audience Masterclass. So if you are, go ahead and DM me and I'll give you some more details about that. Chloe, hey girl, do you recommend Facebook ads? Okay, so here's a really exciting thing. We absolutely recommend running ads through the Facebook Business Manager, but it's like a complicated process, and just boosting posts is not it. So we're actually going to come out with a course very, very soon on how to do that, because I see way too many people just wasting money on ads and not getting any results. Because Instagram and Facebook, like they're the same thing, right? They don't really care if you get sales. All they care is that you get the result that you say you wanted. So if Alejandro, who is my boyfriend and business partner and marketer for Girlpreneur Essentials, he has explained to me that like if you say you want website visits, they'll just send your link and they'll just show your ad to anyone who has previously like clicked on things before. So it's not necessarily you're getting website visits like the ones that you really want. It's just that people are tapping on your link. So but it's definitely it's the way you should run ads, but only when you know how and only when you're like really, really sure on who your audience is. But really good question. Which do you prefer for starting out a small business, Shopify or Wix? I'm actually going to open that question up to to the community. So girls, go ahead and answer if you use Shopify or Wix, and go ahead and answer why. Because I don't use either. I do know that Shopify is like more widely used, and from what I've heard, it's easier to build. But everyone, go ahead and answer that. If you use Shopify or Wix, go ahead and let London and Manny Beauty Collection know. Glam Gloss, I'm so happy to hear that my page has helped you. You're very, very welcome. How can you really find where your target audience likes to hang out? So, I mean, one of the ways is to just think about their age, right? Of course, you want to know them deeper than just how old they are, but like if they're a teenager, they're most likely on TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat. If they're a little older, maybe like in their early 40s, late 30s, maybe they're on Facebook, Pinterest, other places like that, also Instagram maybe. But a way that I like to think about it is, like what you want to know almost as much as you can about them. So definitely I would just say to start with their age and work your way down there. But really good question. I love where you're headed. Hey Posh the Brand. Hey Allie. Okay, yeah, so I actually answered your question earlier. It'll be in the replay. No, so we do not recommend boosting posts with Instagram. I'm glad you drew the umbrella. I think it's so much easier to do it like that. Okay, so Candy said, okay, if they don't want the same thing, for example, I do wholesale glasses and retail glasses, is that two different audiences? Yes, that would be an example of two different audiences, because one audience wants to sell your products and one audience wants to use your products for personal use, right? So those two groups would have very different pain points, very different desires, very different challenges. So you'll have to speak to them differently. And it's not impossible to do that, but you do have to be aware that you're speaking to two different types of people. Okay, so yeah, people use Shopify. Awesome, thanks everyone. Cool, okay. And then let's see, we have some more questions here. One sec. Okay, so tips for packaging. Shop with Silva. I would say tips for packaging is think of like an experience, and also think of your brand mission. So depending on your brand mission, you want to have a different like packaging experience, unpackaging experience, right? Like if you're like think of Apple's packaging experience is like very, very sleek, very clean. It's like really exciting to like slide it out of the box. Like they've crafted this experience, and it's representative of their brand and what they want their customer to experience, and like how they want them to feel about Apple, right? Like Apple is exclusive. Apple is, even though like their products may not be as amazing as other technology brands, like they position themselves this way, and it extends in their packaging. So Shop with Silva, I would think about your brand mission. If it's to like, make women more confident or something, include like a little affirmation, or if it's to make people feel like they're best versions of themselves, like put a little note in there, or put like a little checklist of what are 5 things you love about yourself. Like you can get so creative with packaging, and you can really craft an experience for little, like you don't need the biggest budget to do it. Like you can do it through stickers, you can do it through your the boxes, that like just think of the emotion that you want to evoke when someone unpackages your product, and then think of ideas of how to create that experience for them in the physical form. How to manage inventory, high demand products, how to order, etc. I'm not the best, I'm not an inventory manager or expert or anything, but we actually are going to partner with a girlpreneur soon to release a inventory planner to you all, which I'm really, really excited about, and I'll be sharing more details soon. How to revamp your brand. I'm not really sure what you mean by that. That's kind of a broad question, but I would say is to nail down like on your brand values, on your brand mission, and then speak to that mission all the time. So if like I was saying, right, if it's to make your customers feel more confident, then always speak to that. Like we value women empowerment, all this stuff. So I really, really think that it all starts with the mission and the values. So and then what should be included in packaging? Definitely like I don't see a lot of girlpreneurs doing this, and I think it's a really missed opportunity. I think you should actually create QR codes, so not just a thank you card, but like put a QR code on a thank you card, and you can do this in Canva. Let me know if you would like to learn how to do that, because I can teach you how to like make a thank you card and put a QR code on it, so that you can be like, scan this QR code to leave a review and get 10% off your next purchase. Like that's how I actually think you should structure people leaving reviews, because it's easier. They don't have to go all the way back to your site, find the product that they bought and all that, but you can use a QR code for them to scan it, and then they can go and leave a review. So let me know if that's something you're interested in, and I'll teach you maybe in a reel soon. How to improve sales, that's a little general, but I would say get a marketing plan, meaning like post content consistently. Like you're all on this call, you're all content creators. Like you have to start thinking of yourself that way. You are content marketers, and the faster you understand that, and the faster you learn how to create valuable and action taking content, is the faster you'll get sales, the faster you'll improve sales. Because it's like this app is not just for you to post your products, it's for you to build relationships, it's for you to build trust, it's for you to demonstrate your expertise and authority in your niche. So that's why I'm always talking like, don't just post product pictures. It's a huge missed opportunity. So it sounds like the Instagram Strategy Masterclass might be really beneficial to you. So go ahead and reach out, DM us if you're interested. Tips for rebranding, Shorty's Boutique. So whenever I hear someone's rebranding, it makes me a little confused, because what I think of in a rebrand is like you're changing the person you're focusing on. Right? Like I see a lot of people being like, we're rebranding, but they just changed their aesthetic and they just changed their logo and like their colors maybe. But what a rebrand to me really is like, okay, we're rebranding, meaning we're not focusing on the audience that we previously were. So tips for doing that, I would say, is to announce why you're rebranding, announce who this brand is for, and announce who it's not for. Like you want to be very, very conscious of who your brand is also not for. Like a brand should be exclusive, right? A brand is not for everyone. So definitely announce, like I would get on video, I would get on live, I would get on the post, like it would all be about who you're transitioning to and why. So those are my tips for rebranding. Oh yeah, and then so advice for turning hot leads into sales. You definitely want to have, So you definitely want to have a way of communication with them, like consistently, like every other day, whether that's through emails or you're like in their DMs, and meaning like if they're hot leads, they're already engaging with you, right? But how to turn them into sales is just consistently speak to their pain points and invite them to shop with you. Like I love using memes to do that, because it makes that people laugh, and it genuinely like it adds value to their life, but it also speaks to a pain point. And so I would also think about posting social proof. Social proof is the idea of other people using your products or other people leaving reviews. That shows to people like, okay, I can trust Posh the brand because other people are trusting her. So that's another way. I would also, and Alejandro, who is the marketer for Girlpreneur Essentials, he always has emphasized to me the importance of an irresistible offer. Like, how can you make your offer like a no-brainer to people, right? Where they're like, oh my God, I have to get this. Like, it's obvious. So what can you add? Can you add bonuses? Can you add a how-to video? Can you create a tutorial on how to use your products? Can you style looks for people? Like, think of how else you can add value, and so it's not just the product alone. So that would be another tip. How do you know what the best hashtag is when you're not getting the sales you want? So I think when people don't get hashtag reach, it's one, when they haven't identified their target audience, because usually you're just using product like hashtags related to your product. And then the second thing, so it's either you don't know your audience or you don't know how to use hashtags. So like those two problems, you're never going to get reached. Like no matter how many times you post, no matter, like you have to know how to properly use hashtags, and you have to know who your person is, because you could have the best hashtag strategy in the world, but if you think your audience is just 15 to 40-year-olds who like the product you sell, that's never going to work, because a 15-year-old follows and is under different hashtags than a 40-year-old, then a 32-year-old, then a 38-year-old, right? Like if you just know the age, that's not enough. So I would actually encourage you, before you think about the hashtags, I would think about the person. When is the best time to post and how many times a day? I like to post at least twice a day. I'm actually trying to work up to 4 now, but how to know the best time to post is to actually go into your insights, and then you tap followers, and then you scroll down and you see like, you see the times and the days. Do you think Etsy is easy to get sales on? I have no idea, Queen Mom Jazz, but if any girlpreneurs on the call have used Etsy, go ahead and drop your advice there. I'd love to see that. Cool, okay, I'm gonna teach you guys that. Cool, yes, QR code. Okay, great, I'm gonna teach you all how to do that soon. What kind of content would you post, since you said not to post just product photos? Yeah, so entertaining, empowering, and educational pieces of content. That looks differently for every single brand, because every single brand has a different audience. So let's say you're in the space of selling lashes. Educational posts would look like 5 tips to put your lashes on in under 5 minutes, or how to clean your lashes, or how to extend the life of your lashes, or why the 5 lash mistakes you're making, or how to pick the perfect lash for your eye shape, right? Like these are educational content, pieces of content that position your brand as an expert in lashes. Entertaining pieces of content could look like funny memes related to like the corner of your eyelash not being on. Entertaining pieces of content can look like you packaging orders, can look like, you just have to think and put yourself in the mind of your like audience and think, what is going to make them laugh? What like related to my products, my brand, right? Like, but what the problem with only posting product pictures is you're just asking people for their money, and you're not giving anything of value. Like you don't demonstrate to people why they need the product, you just show what it looks like. And again, there's so much more that goes into a purchase than just seeing what it looks like. So it sounds like you might be really interested in the Instagram Strategy Masterclass. If you're ready to go and get it right now, just go to the link in our bio. But if not, go ahead and DM us and let me know what your biggest challenge is. I'd love to help you out. Where do I even start to begin making a successful marketing plan? You'll want to start with your person, because like your target audience, right? I use the word target audience. Some people use target market, dream customer, target client, like whatever name you use, it's the person that you're selling to. And then when you, to put a marketing plan out for them, you have to think, okay, well, what's going on in this person's life, right? How am I improving it? Because you're never just selling a product, you're selling a solution, you're selling a result, you're selling a look, you're selling a lifestyle. But you can't do any of that before you know who your person is, right? Like if I were to sell cooking utensils, I would think, okay, well, who's gonna use this cooking utensil? Is it gonna be a stay-at-home mother, or is it gonna be a millennial DIY lover, right? Like what kind of person is that going to be? Because if I'm gonna market these cooking utensils to a stay-at-home mom, I'm gonna speak to her very, very differently than I'm going to speak to a millennial DIY lover, right? Like those are completely different audiences. And so the start of a good marketing plan is knowing who your person is, because that's the foundation of everything else. That's the foundation of hashtags, that's the foundation of Instagram, that's the foundation of content, of sales, of writing your captions. Like it all starts with knowing that person first. So Chrissy, let me know if you want the Target Audience Masterclass. I think you'd be interested. Thank you, Ravina. Yay, I'm so happy you're all loving this info. What will be educational content for lip gloss? So, what ingredients do you use? What are the benefits of those ingredients? How to pair lip gloss? Which lip gloss is best for your skin tone? What else? Things related to lip gloss, like how we make the lip gloss, why our lip gloss is, what makes our lip gloss different from Sephora, like whatever, Fenty's versus this versus that. It's all going to be depending on, again, your audience. So I don't want you to think of it so much as like just the product, but like, is your audience an expert glam makeup artist, right? If so, then you could be like, okay, here, I'm going to give you a tutorial for how to integrate my lip gloss into your makeup routine. If they're a beginner in makeup, it's like, okay, how do you do a winged eyeliner, right? And then look, you can pair it with this beautiful lip gloss. Like you can, the more you know about your audience, the more content you can create for them. Yeah, making lip gloss videos is another one to just show the process. Also, educational posts could look, and this is for everyone on the call, educational posts could look like the journey that you were on to like why you started selling this product. Like I would challenge everyone to think about, well, like, why am I selling whatever product you're selling, right? Like I'm selling masterclasses and we're selling ebooks because we know what it's like to want to be really successful in business, but to be so overwhelmed with all the knowledge, and to want to get really sales really bad, but not know where to start. So that's the journey that I was on, and that's the journey that I'm now helping my target audience achieve, like, and go through and achieve and conquer. So what journey is your audience on, and how do you relate to them in that way? So the masterclasses are actually all pre-recorded. So you can watch them whenever you want and however many times you want. The Instagram Strategy Masterclass is available in the link in our bio. And then the Target Audience Masterclass, this is a really secret special deal. After you check out with the marketing ebook, so you can either get the text version or the premium version. After you check out, you'll actually see the option to get the Target Audience Masterclass for almost half the price at $37 instead of $59. But if you want it for $59, if you don't want the marketing ebook for any reason, some people don't want to be overwhelmed, totally understand. Go ahead and DM me and I'll share more details with you. But yeah, the masterclasses, you don't necessarily have to attend them. You get the link and then you can watch it whenever you want and however many times you want. Okay, here's another one. About how long before launching a business would you start to promote it, announce it? I would start right away. Like as soon as you have the business idea, as soon as you have the audience, start right away, because there's no drawback of posting and promoting before you officially have a product to launch. Because what you really want to do is you want to build an audience of people that are ready for you on launch day. So the biggest mistake that you can do is wait till your product is ready to ship to start promoting it. Like you want to promote it weeks in advance, if not months in advance, and build hype around it. Like why is it so important that people get this product? Why are you creating this brand? What experience did you have that is making you create this brand, right? Like definitely start promoting right away. Start getting your content like right away and try to post at least once a day. I know you're in the beginning, so you may not have that audience to see it 3 times a day, but if you think about it, the more times you post, the more reach you'll get. Meaning, let's say each post gets 100 views, right? If you post 3 times, that's 300 views on your page. If you post once, that's only 100. So the more you post, the more reach you get. So go ahead and click the link in our bio to get those masterclasses. But if you've already gotten the ebook, then you've already got that one chance. So go ahead and DM us and we'll set you up on how to do that to get the Target Audience Masterclass. No problem. What should we consider before working with an influencer? I love this question because I always see people working with beauty influencers, or like people that are in this space of whatever product they sell. But what you really, really, really want to consider when working with an influencer is who do they have as an audience, right? Like who is paying attention to them? Because with the traditional beauty influencer, it's other people that like makeup and beauty, right? But like if we're selling more than just products, so it's like if you have a target audience and if you know them really, really well, you're not going to want to go with a traditional beauty influencer. You're going to want to go with an influencer who has that specific audience. What I mean is, let's say that your target audience are, I'm going to use this example, stay-at-home mothers, right? You're like, my audience is a stay-at-home mom. One of them is this age, one of them is that age, one of them is this race, one of them is, blah, 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 but they're all a stay-at-home mom. Then the actual influencers that you want to work with, you go under the hashtag stay-at-home mom, and you look at the top 9 posts. Those are the women that I would reach out to promote your products, because they actually have the eyes that you want to attract. Because let's say you go to a traditional beauty influencer with an audience of stay-at-home moms. There's going to be a very, very small portion of that audience that is a stay-at-home mother, right? But if you go under those top 9 posts of influential women under that hashtag, they have the audience that you're looking for. So that's the first thing that you need to consider. And I would say almost the only thing, but there's of course more than that. Like, you have to look at their engagement rate. You have to look at their the quality of their posts. Are they trustworthy? Do you want to build a relationship with them? All those things. But the most essential thing when working with an influencer is who is following them and who is in their audience, right? Let's look at some more of these questions. Really good one though. How can I get one sec. How can I find out who is my target audience and how do I actually reach them? So the simplest way I can say this, because there's a whole masterclass on it, right? So I can't just, it's too much to say now, but there is, the simplest way I like to say it is, your target audience is who you're most passionate about serving, right? Not who's followed you, not who likes your products, not your friends, not your family, not what your insights say. It's like, who are you most passionate about serving with your brand? Meaning, whose life are you most passionate about changing or improving? That's your target audience. It's not just who likes your pictures. It's not who comments. It's not who you're attracting. It's who you're most passionate about serving. Because I do this on a regular basis. I'll go through our followers and remove people that either don't look like they have a business or who look like they're male identifying. Because I know that my dream customer, the person whose life I want to change, I know exactly what she looks like. I know exactly what she sounds like. I know exactly where she is. I know exactly what hashtag she's following. So that, the more you know your person and the more you're the more just thorough of an understanding you have of them, the easier it is to attract them. Does that make sense? But it all starts with who you're most passionate about, and you also want to consider who also has the money, right? Because that's another problem. If you're just attracting people that are always asking for sales or always asking for discounts, then you need to change who your target audience is if you're just attracting those kind of people. But good question. I love that one. I am on track. Let's see. I am on track with everything, branding, pictures, etc., but not getting enough sales. Okay, so I would ask what's working and what's not working. So I would say, how are you getting sales right now? What kind of content are you posting right now? And then I would say, okay, what are your captions like? Do you have call to actions in every single caption? Do you have a follow-up method to follow up with people who have purchased with you? Do you have a way to get reviews? Are you posting reviews on your page? Are you posting customer testimonials? Are you posting your brand missions and your brand values? Are you connecting with your audience on a deeper level than just posting your product pictures? And when you say branding, does that mean you have a really clear brand mission, brand values, target audience? I would really, really sit down and evaluate, okay, what's working for me and what needs to improve, and maybe what other strategies could I pair with what I'm already doing. It sounds like you really would enjoy the marketing ebook. Because if you're getting sales but you're not getting the amount that you would like, I definitely think it'd be time for you to invest in strategies, because it's great that you're getting that organic sales, but you definitely want to combine different things and test and all that stuff. But really good question. Okay, so should I sell multiple products when launching or just one or two? I say go with one when you're launching. Focus on that one. Focus on getting that one to a really good, consistent sales, and then go for your second one in the same niche. But I might have answered your question a little earlier. But yeah. let's see, what is the best way to expand your audience, getting your business out there? Okay, so expand your audience, just like reach, right? I would say the best way to get reach is through collaboration. So who else has an audience that you are trying to reach, right? Like in that example of a stay-at-home mother, is there another brand that is serving stay-at-home moms that you can partner with that isn't selling the same thing as you, right? Like say you sell beauty products for stay-at-home mothers. Can you partner with a candle company that sells candles for stay-at-home mothers? And can you do like a little giveaway? That's the way that I like to structure giveaways, and that's the way that I like to structure collaborations. It's with partnering with someone who has a similar audience and who has someone that you want to attract onto your page. That would be the best way to do it, because they already have the trust and they already have the proven following that you're trying to attract, right? So, and then the second way I would say would be like, okay, well, you could do ads, but if what you're doing already isn't working, then you probably shouldn't go into ads just yet. Another way that you could reach more people is with hashtags. You know, hashtags are free to use, and as long as you know how to use them and who you're trying to attract, then you're totally set and it's completely free. But what I also have noticed is that the more consistently you post, like you'll consistently get on the explore page. Like every single one of our posts gets on the explore page, and it's free reach. Like it's free. And so the Instagram algorithm rewards you for when you post content that keeps people on the app. So if they're liking, if they're engaging, if they're saving, if they're sharing, if they're commenting, like this keeps people on the app. So it's literally free. Like the algorithm will encourage you to show to more people because they see, okay, this keeps people on the app. This page keeps people on the app. So it's literally free. If you want my strategy for the way that I create content, the hashtags I use, the DMs I send, all that stuff, go ahead and click the link in our bio and get the Instagram Strategy Masterclass, because it's a really in-depth, more longer term way of looking at Instagram. Okay, so this is a really good question. I feel like I have great content, but nobody buys. Why can that be? So there could be a lot of reasons why. It could be that I would look through your followers, Beauty by Mission. I would look through your followers and like, so of course you want to have your audience already, right? You want to know your target audience, and then look through your followers, and you have to be like, okay, are my followers, are they matching the target audience that I have, right? Like or are they just business owners, or are they just spam accounts? Because you could be making amazing content and making great content, but if you don't have the following, you're going to think that it's your content when really it's just your followers. So I would change up the hashtags that you're using. I would change up, I would also think, okay, what offers are you making, right? Like what are you selling, and is it irresistible? Is it really what they want? Have you surveyed them yet? Are you targeting a person who has the money to buy? Like, are they too young? Do they not have the desire? Have you not marketed that hard enough yet? Like, there are so many things that go into kind of correcting, and the easiest way to find that out, though, at least from my understanding and my perspective, is to look through your followers. Because if you say you have great content, then you have to see, okay, well, who's it being shown to? Because if it's being shown to other business owners, if it's being shown to just like random accounts, that they're not going to buy, right? So you really want to be cleaning out your followers on a weekly basis. Like, I love when we get on followers. I love removing followers because it gets us closer to our audience. So the more people you remove who are not your audience, the more of a chance that your content will be seen, and the more chance that it'll convert. But also I would question, I wouldn't really call content great if it doesn't promote people to buy, because and not all content has to get people to buy, but definitely like a portion should. I also want to share with you all that like the content that I post, like if it's a review, that gets the least amount of likes, that gets the least amount of comments, the least amount of saves, the least amount of shares, right? Like, it's a review. People are like, okay, but that gets the most website clicks. So I'm not measuring it based on, oh my God, did it get likes, or oh my God, did it get saves or shares? I'm like, did it do its job? Right? And then there's another piece of content where I'm like, okay, I'm doing this post to add value, to educate, and it's gonna get shares, or it's gonna get saves. And if it gets saves, I'm like, great, it did its job. But if it didn't get sales, I'm like, okay, that wasn't its job anyway. So you want to be like, I wouldn't necessarily call your content great yet if it's not converting. You also might be interested in the masterclass. Let me know. Let me know though, because I would only suggest the Instagram Strategy Masterclass to people that have identified their audience. Like if you've identified your audience, now you're ready for the Instagram Strategy Masterclass, because now I can teach you how to attract them, right? But I can't teach you how to attract someone that you have no idea about. So that's why it's either gonna be you start off with a target audience or you're ready to dive into the Instagram Strategy one. But if you have any questions about the difference between those, just go ahead and DM me. This is a really good question. I love talking about content because it's just like so important. How do you create engaging content? So put yourself in your audience's shoes and try to think of something that is going to stop them, because they're scrolling, right? Like they're following so many other people. They're liking so many other things. They're getting notifications left and right on their phone. So it's not like they're just focused solely on your post. So that's why you want to speak to them, like, and only to them. And my boyfriend and Alejandro, so I'm not sure if you all know Alejandro, but he is the Chief Marketing Officer for Girlpreneur Essentials. He is the author of the Girlpreneur Marketing Secrets. I know some of you are very familiar with him, and others, this might be your first time meeting me. So he is the secret weapon, the other half of Girlpreneur Essentials. And what he introduced to me was the idea of dog whistle copy. So you know that whistle that you blow and like only a dog can hear it, right? And like humans can, no one else can, only dogs. So that's a marketing tactic where basically you say like, okay, let me actually show you an example because I think it's easier to see an example. Let's see. Okay, so this is a really bad way, but like this post right here, you are not selling hair, candles, soap, or even skincare. That's an example of dog whistle copy, right? Because only a business owner is going to like hear that whistle. Does that make sense? So a way to create engaging content would be to implement the dog whistle copy of saying like whoever your audience is, like identifying them in like the first 5 seconds. So whether it's through text, whether it's video, like however you're going to make the content, identify them right away so that they listen, because you don't want just anyone watching your content. You don't want just anyone engaging with it. You want only people that are your audience listening and paying attention. So I'm going to stick with stay-at-home mom. If your audience is stay-at-home mom, you're going to be like, hey, stay-at-home mom, do you struggle with feeling beautiful while you're folding laundry in your sweatpants? This is why I created this. You know what I mean? Like that stay-at-home mom is going to be like, what? Like she's talking to me? And so that's the way that I would create engaging content. Another strategy is to think, like I love to use memes. I love using memes because our audience is like in that kind of a younger age range. And so they're very, very familiar with memes. They love memes and I love memes. So I'm like a really good, I kind of put myself in my audience's shoes because I was my audience like earlier this year, right? So I think of it as like, okay, well, how can I make them laugh? Would this make me laugh? And I ask myself those questions as well. But it sounds like you might like the Instagram Strategy Masterclass, and the link's in our bio if you're interested. Let's see. How can I get my page out there? I'm stuck with the same number of followers for almost a month, maybe. So I would think, I would ask yourself first, who are you trying to reach, right? Like who are you trying to have on your page? And you shouldn't just say, well, I'm trying to have everyone, because that's part of the problem. If you're trying to have everyone, you're going to get no one, because no one feels like your brand is for them. If you're not getting followers, but you're getting reach from like tags or other places, then I would say, what is your bio like? I would also ask, what hashtags are you using? Because if you're using hashtags and they're not performing, you need to change it up. Like every post should get hashtag reach when you're using the right strategy. And if not hashtag reach, the explore page. So it's either your hashtags, your bio, your content, the people following. But the thing that I would say most to look at is your content. Because when you have amazing content that is specific and is targeted, it'll get shares and it'll get saves. But if you just have random content, or you're reposting people's content too much, or, you're not making targeted content, then no one's going to share it. No one's going to save it. It's going to get the algorithm is going to be like, okay, we're not going to show this to other people. Does that make sense? So let's say you post something and you have 100 followers. Instagram will show that post to 10 people, 10% of your audience, and say, okay, let's test this piece of content by Beauty by Mission. If 10 of her followers engage, comment, save, or share it, if they engage with it, we're going to show it to the other 90%. Right? So let's say you make a post and it goes to those 10 people and it doesn't add any value to their life. It doesn't include a call to action. It doesn't make them do anything. They don't like it. They don't engage with it. Instagram is like, okay, nope, we're not going to show that to anyone else, because they're in the business of keeping people on the app. So if your content doesn't keep people on the app, it's going down. No one else is going to see it, because they want to make their money. They make money when people are watching ads and buying from ads. The only way people can buy from ads is if they see the ads. The only way they can see the ads is if they're on the app. So if you're not making content that isn't keeping people on the app, you're going to have a really, really hard time with growth. It's going to be really, really hard for you to reach people that aren't following you, because the people that are following you aren't even seeing your posts. So I would really suggest the Instagram Strategy Masterclass to you. It sounds like you're someone who would really, really benefit from it, because if you're struggling with growth, it'll help you with that. But yeah, my approach to Instagram is kind of different, and it's not like, you're gonna get 100 followers overnight or anything like that. My strategy with Instagram is let's build relationships. Let's create valuable content. Let's approach Instagram in the position of service, in the position of giving, in a position of how can we add value, that. And that strategy, that's what I've had the whole time since I've started the page. It's I'm not gonna post anything if I don't think it's gonna be valuable to you all. I would never start posting about what I'm eating for dinner or a dog that I want to get. I wouldn't post about that kind of stuff, or I wouldn't post unedited Snapchat videos or Snapchat pictures, because that's not adding value to you all. So the way that I look at Instagram is center your audience. Center your audience in everything you post, everything you say, everything you do. Ask, is it adding value to them? If it's not, do not post it. If it is, then post it, right? But it's about building relationships. It's about building trust, and it's about using this app in a way that you can really not just make sales, but make impact, right? I think that's so much more valuable and so much more important. But yeah, it sounds like if you're struggling with content, then definitely you would be interested in the masterclass. I have a hard time creating content for my Instagram. Any tips? Canva is a really great way to, I don't like to use the exact templates from Canva, but I do like to recreate them. But I like to look at their Canva templates to get ideas, then just put yourself in your audience's head and think how can you improve their day? How can you speak to a pain point? Can you share a personal story relevant to the brand? Have you gone through a challenge that they have gone through too and they would relate to? That's the way that I approach content, is how can I really help someone? Since I know my audience, I know what their pain points are, I know what their challenges are, that's how I like to approach it. So I hope that helps. But if you're struggling with content, it most likely means you haven't identified your audience yet, because you only think you sell products, but you don't sell products, so you sell way more than that. So the easier and the more thorough of an understanding you have, the more content you can create. A great example of that I love is at Sugar Spa Palace. I don't know if Dorshane is on the call anymore. Are you there, Dorshane? But she's in the 25, our group mentoring program. She's not on anymore, but she is making amazing content now, all about being a mom, all about having mom guilt, and that she's making funny. I just love what she's doing, because she really knows her person now, and she's speaking to them, and she's integrating her own life experience into the brand because she identifies with her audience. So yeah. Let's see. How can I encourage my audience to sign up for my email list? Such a good question. I would offer them something for free. So depending on what you sell, I would say like, okay, can you offer like a free PDF? Can you offer a video tutorial? Can you offer, an easy way to do it is like a discount, but what's more valuable is if you can get more inside their head. Let's say you serve the stay-at-home mom, right? What can you give her 5 recipes to make quickly that are healthy for her family? Can you teach her a makeup tutorial that she can do before her partner gets home? Can you teach her, what value can you add? And that's how you would get someone onto an email list. I really am a huge fan of being like, okay, what can I give in exchange for this email? Because it has to be valuable, right? And like sometimes a discount just isn't enough. But like what else can you do? I would encourage you to think of like what's related to your products. Do people need to know how to use them? Do people need to know how to take care of them? Do people need to know how to, like the lashes, can you tell them how to extend the life? If you sell hair, can you tell them, 5 hair mistakes to avoid, or 5 hair scams to avoid, or the difference between this kind of hair versus that kind of hair? Like, think of your expertise and think of how you compare it into like a free PDF or a free video tutorial or something like that, and that's how I would get someone on an email list. How often should you do sales? Okay, so I'm not a huge fan of doing sales, just because they can devalue the products that you sell. If you're doing sales all the time just to get sales, then that's a huge red flag. I would do sales in celebration of something or as an appreciation, if you hit a milestone or, a holiday or something like that, but I definitely wouldn't do them. I would maybe do them once a month, if that, maybe even a little less than that. But if you're doing sales all the time, then no one's going to want to buy your product at full price. No one is going to ever value what you actually have because you don't even value it yourself, right? You're giving it away at a lesser amount than you are asking for. So you have to value your product as much as you want your audience to value it. So if you're doing sales all the time, it's like you're demonstrating that here you could have this at a lower price, because I don't know, like it just doesn't click with me. And if you're doing sales all the time, it could lower the perception of your value too. Like, right? Like Louis Vuitton doesn't do sales all the time, right? Chanel doesn't do sales all the time. Gucci doesn't do sales all the time. Walmart, yeah, they do sales all the time, right? Like you have to think of how you want your brand to be perceived. And then that's how I would answer that question of how often do you do sales? What type of posts are more likely to be shared or saved? Can you give examples? So it depends on your audience, but for what I've found from my experience is that posts that get the most shares are things that are relatable, right? Because people relate to it and they're like, oh my God, I want to post this on my story and like say how much this relates to me, basically. So relatable posts, also empowering posts, like affirmations get a lot of shares for us, but like our audience is different from yours. So that's why you want to test out your content. Like I'm going to do a post, or actually a YouTube video soon, on the absolute trash of a page that I was creating when I first started, like the horrible content that I had. If you want to see it, I haven't archived anything yet, so please do yourself a huge favor. If you want to have a laugh, go ahead and scroll down to the bottom of our page and just see. Like, it took me not a really long time, but it took me time to figure out what my audience wanted and how best to give it to them. So I wasn't always posting great posts. It took me, maybe a month to get on the explore page. And then now I'm like, okay, now I know what it is. But saves and shares usually come from empowering content and educational content, because saving, people are like, if they're learning something, they're like, okay, I'm gonna go back to this and learn it later. If it's people share things when they want to relate to it. Like when they relate to it, they'll share it. When they're learning something, they'll save it for later. But yeah, that's, in my experience, empowering and educational posts get the most saves and shares. Great. Hey girl. what is empowering content for a skincare brand? Empowering content, so it's gonna look different because you're not just a skincare brand, you're a insert target audience brand, right? Like maybe you're a teen brand, maybe you're a stay-at-home mom brand, maybe you're a single mom brand. So that empowering content is gonna look different for every different brand. But an example of empowering content would be like, your skin is beautiful with your pimples and your scars and your blemishes, right? Or there's no such thing as perfect skin. Or empowering content could also be like a story of you sharing your skin journey and how it's changed over the years, or how you've become more confident in it. Those are all examples of empowering content that someone on that skincare journey would be like, wow, you know, Abundant Beauty Care really cares about my self-esteem or something like so. So really put yourself in your audience's shoes though, and then think about what challenges they're having and how you can empower them. Hey, Forex Clarity. Okay, yeah, so the mentoring program, we're going to open it up very, very soon, and I'll give you a launch date hopefully next week, but I haven't announced it on the feed yet because we haven't gotten that launch date yet, but we're definitely going to be opening up the mentoring program to everyone else because we've seen how beneficial it is for the 25, and we'd love to have more of you in it, so yeah. Yay, so happy you all are enjoying it. Oh my gosh, Shan, thanks so much for joining. I'm going to save this live video, but it'll actually be on our YouTube, so you can all stream it from there. But yeah, this will definitely be saved. Okay, so what's the best kind of content to post for a lash brand? Shan, this is your question. I'll answer it if I'm not sure if you're on still, but the best type of content is going to actually be more about your person and less about your product. So depending on whoever your brand is for, I can't necessarily tell you the best type because you need to test it yourself and you need to ask and put yourself in your audience's shoes, because what performs best for Girlpreneur Essentials is not going to perform best for, you know, another brand just because we have different audiences. So the best type of content, but again, it's going to be in those categories of empower, entertain, and educate. But you have to think about, you know, who you're really trying to do that for. So yeah, I would encourage you to put yourself in your audience's shoes and identify your audience if you haven't already. Let's see. Okay. Love this question. Do you have a set schedule on how you get everything done? I'm trying to work more towards one, but definitely I use one day out of the week to plan my content, and I'll make like, you know, 30 pieces of content in one day. And I'm actually going to do a YouTube video about that really soon because I find it's the hardest thing that people struggle with is being consistent in posting. And then after I schedule that content, then I work on other things like, okay, recording videos, hashtag strategies, how to improve that. I look at insights that so I don't necessarily have a schedule yet, but as soon as I do, I'll share it on YouTube. But I definitely have a content strategy schedule, so I'm gonna share that really soon. Great questions, and I realize we've been going for an hour, so thank you all so much for being on here. It's so much fun. Okay, great. This is a really good question. If we are releasing an ebook, what platform should we put it on? So if you're releasing an ebook, I would suggest, you can do it on any website, but the way that I would go about it is like any other product, you're going to want to build a launch strategy for it. Like, you're going to want to build hype the same way that you would a physical product. So then another way that I would release the ebook is I would, since you're positioning yourself as an expert in whatever ebook you're releasing, right? I would start posting lots of educational content too. So before you release this ebook, you're already in the mind of your customer. You're already an expert. So the platform, I would definitely say whatever website you already have. The platform that we're using is ClickFunnels, but that's a really different, more complicated like funnel than just like a regular website. But I wouldn't really treat it that differently differently than a physical product, but I would definitely go so hard on the educational content, because you have to basically like pre-sell someone before you go on there, right? Like you want them to see that you know what you're talking about and you're going to add so much value to them, and so like give them more than they're already than they're expecting, really, if that makes sense. But I would treat it almost the same way. Yeah, but really good question. I love that you're doing an ebook. I would love to hear more on what ebook you're doing. How do we make our hashtags actually work? Okay, so hashtags, you have to have a strategy for hashtags, because if you're just using like random hashtags, you're not gonna get reach, because you're most likely using ones that are too big. I see the mistake, the most common mistake I see is that girls will use hashtags like all related to the product that they're posting. But then the other way that hashtags have to be paired with is with content. So you get hashtag reach by the amount of engagement you receive. So if your content isn't right, isn't valuable, isn't adding, then it doesn't matter what hashtags you have, because it's not going to get engagement. So if it doesn't get engagement, then it doesn't get in the top 9. Does that make sense? Let me know if that's a little confusing, because I see a lot of girls struggling with hashtags, and I'm actually going to do a YouTube video about that soon, because the biggest mistake and the most common mistake is using hashtags that another business is using, or like a bigger business than you is using. That's a mistake, because you don't have the same engagement as they do, so you're not going to get the reach that they do. And another reason why it's a really big mistake is that you have a different audience than them. So if they're using hashtags related to one audience, you don't want to attract that same person. You want to get to your audience. So I think you'd really like the Instagram Strategy Masterclass. I go really in depth on hashtags, and if you like more details, you can just DM me. But I'm going to be talking about hashtags soon. Okay. How often should you host sales and giveaways? Like I talked about this a little earlier, but the problem with sales is that if you're constantly doing them, no one's going to want to buy your product at full price, because why would they? Like, if you don't value your product, no one else is going to either. And then with giveaways, I would structure, I want to do a giveaway when we get to 10K, but I'm not going to do it in a way that's like tag people or tag, I want to be really conscious of who follows the page, because I don't just want any follower, right? I want a follower in our target audience. So giveaways can be bad, because you can actually attract just people that want free stuff, and people that want free stuff are not your audience, right? So giveaways can actually hurt your brand. I would only do giveaways as like an appreciation, and I would structure them in a way that's like comment or save or share, but I wouldn't necessarily do the like rule of tagging someone, because when you people can tag anyone, and that person, I don't know, it's just really hard to control who ends up following you, and you could end up with a lot of people following you, but like no people buying from you, because they just want free stuff all the time. So I would really be careful of sales and giveaways. I would only do them like maybe once every 2 months. But you really want to giveaways are not a way to get followers, giveaways are not a way to get an audience of buyers. They're a way to get an audience of watchers and people that just waste your time. So I would really be conscious of that. What are some examples of hashtags for a skincare business? I can't tell you that, just because I don't know your audience, and the hashtags have more to do with the person you're attracting and than they do the products you're selling. So how do you make content without any products? That's such a good question. So the way that I actually went about making content before I had any products was like I would literally picture my target audience and talk to them in however I talk to them in a way that is going to add value to them. And I know I constantly say value, but it's true, because you can make content right now about why you're starting the brand. You can make content about the ingredients that are going into your products. You can make content about the journey of you building this business and why you're really doing this for. You can make content about, you can make empowering content still. You can make educational content still. Like, before you have products is actually the most important time, because you want to launch to an audience. You don't just want to launch to, like, no one. So definitely be posting every single day, and think about how you want your products to be received. Like, do you want them to be received by people that really know, like, and trust you already? Or do you want to receive them and then try to have to, like, go backward and be like, okay, this is, people can trust me now. Like, I don't really like when I see people waiting till they have the product to be able to launch. Like, you should always be building your audience. You should always be building hype. You should always be building relationships. But you can still do educational, entertaining, and empowering content, most definitely. And then I'm going to take some questions from the post. How to prevent burnout or writer's block when it comes to producing content. I like to go take a walk, or I like to watch something, or I also will like to follow relevant hashtags. So hashtags that are, like, in our niche, I'll follow those hashtags to, like, get inspiration for content, and, like, see, okay, well, what are other people talking about? What are other people posting about? Another way to prevent burnout or writer's block is to see, like, what's going on in the news, or what popular memes are going around that you can recreate. Like, are there, like, what's going on in the world that you can relate to your brand? Those are all ways that I prevent, like, writer's block or, like, content block, right? It's just, like, thinking of ways that you can tie relevant things into your brand. But that's a really good question. And yeah, I also like to go on walks as well. How to keep getting sales after launch day is over. So you have to be marketing consistently. Like, if you want consistent sales, you have to post consistently, right? You have to think of new ways to approach your product. Think of new ways to speak about its benefits. Think of new ways to tell the story behind your product. And if you're struggling with marketing, then I highly recommend the Girlpreneur Marketing Secrets ebook. It's over 80 pages, it's 10 chapters, over 80 pages. It comes with 2 bonuses, and the second bonus I'm so excited for you all to get. It's actually on storytelling. So instead of being like, I make this lip gloss with this oil and this Versagel and this color, you're like, oh my God, when I was 17 years old, I really struggled with confidence, and I had a really hard time. I never wanted to go on any dates. I never got asked on any dates. I just felt so insecure in my body and in the way that I looked. And it wasn't until that I found this lip gloss, like, Alejandro, who is the marketer, does an amazing job at telling stories. If you've been on any of our lives, you've seen him, like one person said, sell sky to the birds. Like, he is so good at storytelling, and he teaches you exactly how to do it in the bonus. So I'm really excited for you all to watch that. But yeah, if you want to get sales after launch day, it's just about marketing consistently. Like, the sales should never stop if you're doing a good job. Okay, so I covered that one. Ideas of what to post daily. So you could definitely do, like, a content, like, themes. Like, Monday, it could be, like, Motivational Mondays. Tuesday, it could be, like, Tips Tuesday, you share a tip. Wednesday, it could be, like, Wind Down Wednesday. You, like, go on live and drink wine with your audience. You can kind of think of, like, okay, well, the days, and then pair them up with different content themes. That could be a good way to get to post daily, but definitely always think about adding value to your audience. And then how to market better. That's a really broad question, but I would say storytelling. How to create content, went over that one. I'm not an expert in website policies, but if anyone is, go ahead and drop some suggestions here. So the Black Hair Boutique said how to create right website policies to protect your brand. That I'm not an expert in at all, so I would go ahead and like look for someone that is, and maybe like see if you can like do a consultation with them or something. Let's see. What are some marketing strategies for a clothing business? So it depends on who you're selling the clothing to, right? Like who is your audience? Because I would encourage you to think beyond the clothing, that you're not just selling clothing, you're selling a look, right? You're selling a lifestyle. So who are you selling that lifestyle to? What are their challenges with why is your clothing better than other people's clothing? What makes your clothing so special? How can you make your offers more irresistible? Like, can you offer style guides with your clothing? Can you offer a tutorial on like 5 different outfits to pair with a certain product? Like, think of other ways that you can add value to your offers, so that it's not just like you're buying a shirt, but you're buying this entire fit that I'm going to create for you in this bonus PDF where I teach you other patterns that would mix well with this certain shirt. Like, do you know what I mean? So just think of more ways that you can add value. Let's see. When to start using ads. Okay, so when to start using ads to promote your products, before or after launch day, and what budget should I have for ads? So I actually wouldn't recommend going into ads for a launch day. I would recommend building that audience and maybe putting like a little bit of money into ads, but don't go into ads until what you're doing right now is already working. Meaning, without having to go into ads, like have a really, really solid marketing plan, have a follow-up system for your clients, have reviews before you go into ads. Because if you go into ads without having things that are working, you're always gonna have to rely on ads, and it's like you're gonna be wasting money, and you're going to constantly have to look to Instagram or Facebook to get sales, and that's not the right way to do it. So yeah. I would definitely say once it's already working, then put more money behind it. What exactly is an Instagram audit? So an Instagram audit, I actually don't offer a one-on-one audit anymore, but I do offer the do-it-yourself Instagram audit checklist. An audit is a thorough review of your brand's presence. So it's like, how are you showing up on the app? Is your bio optimized? What hashtags are you using? Who are your followers? What's your content like? What are your captions like? Do you include call to actions? This is all, I wrote an entire checklist of all the questions that I used to audit people's pages, and you can now purchase that as a bonus with the Instagram Strategy Masterclass. But yeah, an audit is basically looking at your page and saying, okay, what are you really doing here? Are you building relationships? Are you building trust? Or are you just using the app to post your products? But yeah, Instagram audit is just like a really thorough look at your page. I'm starting a business with tea and incorporating crochet items with it. Cool. Yeah, I mean, if your audience likes tea and crocheting, then that sounds great to me. Congratulations. What do you do when you unfollow business owners who aren't your target audience and they keep following you? I would remove them. Because if they're not your audience, it just doesn't matter for them to follow you, and it's not like a bad thing to remove them. I mean, it's just that they're not your audience, right? If they engage with your stuff, if they could be a potential customer in the future, then I would keep them. But if not, I would just remove them, because they're kind of like taking up space if they don't engage. And yeah, if you're not passionate about serving business owners, then you have no duty to serve them. You have no obligation to allow them to follow you. But if you are constantly attracting business owners, then I would look at your hashtags. They're probably very product oriented. And the problem with product oriented hashtags is that other business owners follow them, right? So like no individual person without a business is going to follow like hashtag online boutique, right? Like it's the person following the hashtag. But yeah, if you're selling the same product as someone else, how will you set yourself apart? So there's actually no there's no such thing as like competition, I would say, if you've identified your audience. Because if you've identified your audience, like no one is going to speak to them the same way that you are, right? Like there are tons of people that teach you how to build a brand. There are so many other people in the space that teach you how to use Instagram, but no one is speaking to our audience like we are. No one is building relationships with our audience like we are. So we don't really think of it as like their competition because they don't have the same audience. Now, if someone did have the same exact audience and I had the same exact product, well, I would think, okay, well, how can I make this offer better, right? What bonuses can I attach to it? Can I open up? Can I be more vulnerable? Can I attach a story to the product? But if you have an identified niche and an identified person that you're speaking to, you eliminate competition that way, because it doesn't matter if someone sells the same exact candle scent as you. If you're selling a candle scent and you know that this candle is going to go to a stay-at-home mom, who cares about what other people are selling candles, because they're not speaking to the stay-at-home mom the way that you are. Does that make sense? But that's another reason why identifying your target audience is like so key, because then it's like you just eliminate competition. You have no one else in that space that is going to build that relationship with that person. So let me know if that makes sense. If not, I can expand. How can I get younger followers even though the parents will have to buy the products? So you actually have to market to the parents because the parents have the money. So if you're marketing, if your target audience is if you think it's like a younger person, I would actually encourage you to build relationships with the parents, because they're the ones spending the money, and it's gonna be like whoever's spending money, that's gonna be the person that you have to market to, because that person, you have to speak to their challenges, you have to overcome their obstacle, you have to market yourself to them because they're the ones ultimately paying. But yeah, that's a really good question, and I would change the way that you're marketing, and I would go straight to the parents' wallet. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so if they don't engage and they're continuously following you, you could block them. You could also just like, I don't know, I wouldn't spend that much time on them. I would think of it more as like, okay, well, what can I do to like repel them? Like you can post, this page is not for business owners, this page is for, and then insert audience. But yeah, I wouldn't spend that as much time focusing on them than I would your actual audience. Do you prefer Facebook ads over Instagram ads? So when I was saying Facebook ads, I meant ads ran through the Facebook Business Manager platform, which I am not an expert in, but my boyfriend is. So if some of you have met him, some of you have not, but his name is Alejandro, and he is the ad expert. So I'm actually really excited that we're going to create a course for you all so that you can learn the right way to run the ads. But remember, since Facebook is the owner of Instagram, you can run it through their platform and still run it on Instagram. But the reason why you don't want to boost posts on Instagram is because you have very limited targeting, like you have very limited reach. But what's crazy about the Facebook ads is that you can literally pick like a person within a certain like mile radius and a certain income, and that they like all these other brands. Like you can get so specific. Emily, he is not feeling well tonight, so he was going to join, but he's not feeling well, so he's resting. But yeah, I know I just want him to rest, but he's like, I can do it. But I'm like, no, you should rest. So he's resting. But yeah, he brings so much energy and so much great knowledge to you all. So I love having him on here. He's like my secret weapon. Should you color coordinate your Instagram? I don't ever think it's like a bad thing to color coordinate it. Like I love an aesthetically looking feed. But if you're finding that it's challenging for you and it's keeping you from posting consistently and it's keeping you from like, I don't know, if it's somehow harming the amount of times that you can post, then no, don't do a color coordinated Instagram, because it's more important that you have a valuable feed than you do like a color coordinated one, right? So as long as your content is it does look the same, like you want to use the same fonts, you want to use the same colors consistently. As long as you're doing that, you don't necessarily have to coordinate it in the way that you post. But I would definitely focus more on the quality of what you're posting. Let's see. I have a pair of lashes that are new to my store but not made any sales on that style. I'm thinking of not restocking. I can't see the rest of the question, but I would challenge you to think of like different ways to market it. I would also challenge you to post more of like you wearing them so people can see them. But I wouldn't necessarily give up on a product yet just because it hasn't made sales. I wouldn't like to see you like blaming the product and more looking internally and being like, okay, well, how am I marketing it, right? Because I actually really believe that no matter what product you sell, if you're an amazing marketer, if you speak to your audience in a way that no one else does, you can sell whatever product. And of course it has to be good, like, it has to meet their standards, but I would never blame the product unless it's like an awful, lash style. That is just horrible. But if you picked it, then it's probably not. Megan's Beauty. I think he just adds so much value. Like he's amazing at what he does. And it's actually funny, when we first started, I knew how valuable he was and how just an amazing marketer he was. So I would be like, come on, like join me on the lives, like they would love it. And he'd be like, no, it's Girlpreneur Essentials, they don't want to see me, but I'm like, no, like you have to come on. So the first live that we did together, I was asking everyone, I was like, can you please tell him to stay? So now he joins me. And now he actually did a live by himself. And it was so funny. Someone commented on one of our posts and was like, OMG, is this account ran by a guy? Is a guy really behind this page? And I thought it was so funny. But no, so Alejandro is my business partner and also just my boyfriend. He's amazing. But I am posting I post and I write the captions and all that. But he helps with the strategy, he helps with the ads, he helps with the funnels. Yeah, isn't that funny? I was dying because she was like, oh my God, what did she say? I feel shocked, or I feel something. It was so funny. But yeah, Alejandro is the marketer. Okay, so how to attract customers instead of other business pages. That has to do all with hashtags. What platform do you recommend for email marketing? We used ActiveCampaign and Lead Pages, but I know those are a little more complex systems, so maybe like MailChimp. I also know Flowdesk is another one. But yeah, if anyone, go ahead and put down the email marketing systems you use, and I'll shout them out so that we can answer this question together. What do you think about showing your personal self on your business page using products, etc.? Do you think that's overwhelming? I can't say the end of this question, but I absolutely recommend showing your face on your business page. As long as you're comfortable, I think it's a great way to build relationships, and it's also a great way to demonstrate. If you don't have a model, if you can't pay for models, it's fine. You can model your things yourself, and people love seeing a personal face. People love seeing the face behind the brand. It personalizes it. It makes it so much more relatable, and also they just get to know you more as a person and less of just as a business. So I would absolutely post yourself on stories, on feed and reels, all that stuff. As much as you're comfortable with it, I would run with it. But yeah, I love that you're thinking there. Cool. I'm gonna answer. Okay, so wait, we have some answers here. Flowdesk, as well as Clavio. Clavio. Cool. Thank you guys. My product takes 2 months to manufacture, and I ship in total. When I run out of stock, I allow customers to pre-order. Is this waiting time too long? No, I don't think, as long as you're, honest about the time that it takes. I think people pre-ordering is really, really cool, and it's a really great testament to the great marketing that you've done. Because if people are wanting it no matter how long it takes, that shows that, wow, you've really created a demand for it, and that you've really built a relationship with them, and where they're willing to wait. They don't care about waiting. So I would say really great job. If people want to pre-order 2 months ahead, that's awesome. That's really, really good. But, I would also leave it up to them. Like, hey, you can pre-order, but just be very honest about it. Like, hey, it's going to take 2 months, but if you really want to make sure that you don't miss out, go ahead and sign up to our email list to get on this, hot list or whatever. But I think it's really, really smart to do pre-orders. What about a text-based engagement app? Oh, like text message marketing? Is that what you're talking about? I'm not sure. Go ahead and let me know what you meant. Okay, but we had a question here. Should every post have a call to action? Absolutely. Every post should have a call to action. Some posts you don't have to, like if it's like sometimes I'll post something and I'll just put like mood, right? Like those ones you don't have to have call to actions with, but most posts you always want to be telling your audience what to do after consuming that post, right? Like, should they comment something? Should they like it? Should they share it? Should they shop? Should they save? What should they do? If you're not including call to actions, it's most likely that you're not having a goal behind the piece of content. So the way that I like to plan out content is like in terms of goals. So, okay, I'm like, okay, great. So I'm going to add value. I'm going to teach something. I'm going to inspire, and then I'm going to get sales. So I need to post 4 different types of content that are going to do each of those things. And I'm going to use the call to action to make sure that goal gets met, right? So if the goal is to get shares, then I'm going to say like tag a girlpreneur that's going to relate to this. If the goal is to get sales, then I'm going to talk about a pain point and say, when you're ready, blah, 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 click the link in our bio, right? So depending on the goal of the content, you're going to want to have a different call to action. But since every piece of content should have a goal, every piece of content should also have a call to action. Oh my gosh, Chloe, I'm going to save it and I'm going to put it on our YouTube channel. So don't worry if you go to sleep. You can watch the replay. But thanks so much for staying up. I'm so glad to have you here. Okay, yeah, so text message marketing. I definitely think we haven't gotten into that yet, but I think it's a really, really smart way to stay top of mind, because like everyone checks their text messages, right? But not everyone checks their emails. So I know they have like much higher open rates, meaning like people will open the text at much higher rates than emails. So I would definitely look into that. We don't personally use one, but when we do, I will share it and review it and all that stuff. Oh my gosh, in Belgium. Wow, thank you all so much for watching it. I hope you've been getting value and everything. I'm going to answer a few more questions, and then I'm actually going to go ahead and check out too. But I'm so glad to have you all here. Are you saving the live? So I'll be saving the live, but instead of uploading it to the Instagram TV channel, I'll be putting it on YouTube. So you can go ahead and watch the replay there. But yes, I'll absolutely save this. How much is a coaching call with me? Great question. So before I answer this question, I want to explain what a coaching call is for. So a coaching call is not for identifying your audience. A coaching call is not for, learning what content to post. But a coaching call is for getting like a higher level brand strategy or a higher level marketing strategy. So because the thing that I would hate to happen is that you go on a coaching call and we spend 60 minutes talking about something that you could have watched in the masterclass, right? Because coaching calls are, for me, they're $199 an hour. For Alejandro, they're much more than that. But they're $199 an hour because it's higher level strategies than it's just a masterclass. So before you can get on a one-on-one call with me, I always make sure that you, one, know your audience, and two, know how to speak to them. Because once you know those two things, then I can help you with higher level things. But anytime someone is interested in a one-on-one, I recommend the master classes first, because they're a lower investment, but you get the value that you need to get. Most oftentimes when people want to speak with me, it's because they don't know their audience yet. But that's why I created the masterclass, because that the target audience masterclass goes all in depth of what I would do in one-on-ones. But it teaches it in a way that you can consume it. You can watch it as many times as you want, whenever you want. And the one-on-ones would be more so for like specific Instagram strategy, specific content strategy, making a content plan, or if you want me to personally audit your Instagram. But yeah, coaching calls with me are $199 an hour. Good question. Okay, let's see. We have a few more. What if you post engaging content asking them to comment their favorite lashes and they don't comment? So one, you want to think about who's following you, right? Who's seeing that call to action? Is it someone that's actually is it someone who's actually in your audience? The second thing I would look at if people aren't engaging with you is, have you built a relationship with them already? Have you introduced yourself on your page? Have you introduced your brand mission? Have you said, why it's so important? Like the thing with engagement is people have to feel like they're getting something from engaging with you, right? So if it's just like something that doesn't really resonate with them, or if you don't have that relationship established yet, it's kind of like this. It's kind of like when a guy texts you and you're not really that into him, and he's like constantly texting you and you have no interest in him, and so you're just like, you don't really feel like texting him back, and sometimes maybe you ghost him for a little bit. Like it's because you don't have a relationship with him, you don't really care about what he has to say, that kind of stuff, right? So before you can get that engagement, you have to build the relationship. And that's exactly what I teach in the Instagram Strategy Masterclass, because Instagram is an engaging platform, right? Like it encourages engagement, and posts, like you should be getting engagement on posts, but you first have to build a relationship. So if people aren't commenting on your things, I would say, okay, introduce yourself. I would say make it really, really clear why you're doing this brand, what's your mission behind it, right? How would you say sorry, Ravina, would you mind asking your question one more in another way? Like, are you asking what's the best way to create a brand mission after you have a target audience? The best way to create a brand mission would be to think, okay, how are you improving your target audience's life, right? Like, what are you doing for them? How are you different? What makes you different from another brand? Why did you start this business? Like, first, for example, okay, yeah, cool. So for example, if maybe you sell the same product, but you sell it for a different reason, right? Like maybe you sell lip gloss, but you sell it because when you were, after you had your baby, you had a really hard time feeling confident in yourself, but you find that when you wear lip gloss, you feel so much more confident. That's a completely different brand story and brand mission than someone who sells lip gloss to teenagers that compare themselves to TikTok and Instagram influencers, right? Like that's a completely different brand mission, completely different brand story. So you want to present it in whatever way is authentic for you, and whatever way is like why you're really doing this business, right? So let's see, we have some other questions. Focusing on rebranding, best ways to get rid of inventory. I love to think, like I've gotten this question a few times, and the best way that I like to get rid of old inventory is the tip of being like, this is limited edition, right? Like this is a limited edition. It's not coming back. Once these are gone, they're gone. But calling your like old stock, don't say it's like old inventory, say it's limited edition. That's a completely different positioning than saying like this is an old inventory. Like no one wants that, but everyone wants like limited edition things. So I would suggest that you position your existing inventory as that, and say, this is never coming back again. If you want this, with whatever you sell, if you want this, then go to the link in our bio right now. You're never going to get a chance like this one. And then put a time on it. So be like, after such and such date, it's going away, and honor that time. So be like, by, January 19th, it's going to be gone, at this such and such time. And then every day it can be like 10 days left to get the limited edition lashes, or 10 days left to get the serum that you're never going to be able to get again. Like that kind of stuff is going to position it in a better way than just being like, yeah, we're getting new inventory. So, you know what I mean? Okay, you're dropping gold. Cool. I'm glad you guys are liking it. I got the ebook, but I still don't really know my target audience after reading that chapter. Yeah, so if you still don't know your target audience, I would suggest the Target Audience Masterclass, because the marketing ebook's goal is for you to be able to speak to them and to attract them. But yeah, we included that chapter because we want to emphasize that you need to know your audience, but you're probably going to enjoy the Target Audience Masterclass. And then after you watch that, then you'll be able to implement the marketing strategies. Because what I see a lot of people making the mistake of is being like, my marketing isn't working. And I'm like, well, who are you marketing to? And they're like, everyone. And I'm like, wait a sec, like that's the problem, right? So, but go ahead and DM me, girl, and ask me any questions you have. I'd love to help you with your target audience. Let's see. We have a couple more questions. Okay, we got that one. Yes, we answered the email marketing. Cool. I think we might be at the end. What exactly is a niche? Good one. So a niche is, so you have like think of like you have an ocean, okay? An ocean is like an industry, and then you have let me think if I can get the water analogy right. You have an ocean, then you have a sea, okay? So a sea would be like on a lower level than an industry. Then from a sea, you have like a river, and then a niche would be like having a lake. So a niche would be like a really, really specific, so like let's say you're in the clothing industry, but your niche is maternity clothing, right? Like it's like here's clothing, and then here's maternity clothing, and then here's maternity clothing for plus size women, right? That's a niche, plus size women, maternity clothing, because it goes from small to medium to big. So for like, let's say a niche in beauty would be like, okay, you have beauty, right? Then you have beauty for like dark-skinned women, and then you have beauty for dark-skinned women that suffer from hyperpigmentation or something like that, right? Like you basically go down in specificity, and that's a niche. Let's see. Okay, yep, so we answered that question of marketing to younger girls. You would actually want to market to their parents, because they are the ones that have the money. When promoting products, should you focus on one product at a time? I'm not really sure what you mean by that. Because I'll post like 2 different masterclasses in one day. But is that what you're asking, like depending on the days? Yeah, go ahead and ask me that one question again. Yeah, go ahead and ask me that question again. I'm not really sure what you mean, because if you're promoting products, you can promote multiple in one day, but just make sure that in between those promotional posts, you're adding value related to the journey that your audience is on. But I hope that was your question. Where can you find the masterclasses? So yeah, this is a really good question. So in the link in our bio, you'll see the Instagram Strategy Masterclass. That one will help you with how to attract followers, how to optimize your bio, how to use hashtags, how to create content, how to build relationships. So that is, the Instagram Strategy Masterclass is for girlpreneurs that already know their audience. Then we have the Target Audience Masterclass, and that masterclass you can actually get right now at a discounted rate. After you check out with either versions of the marketing ebook, so you can either check out for $19 or $39. You get the marketing ebook. After you check out, you get one opportunity to get the Target Audience Masterclass for $37 instead of $59. So that's just a little trick, a little hack that you can use to get the Target Audience Masterclass at a discounted rate. You can also get it after you purchase the Instagram Strategy Masterclass if you're ready for both of them. But if you've already purchased the ebook and you didn't take that offer, then you can just DM us and we'll give you the details. But yeah, that's how you can get the masterclasses. Let's see, I'm gonna take a couple more questions. In the questions tab, I saw there were a few. Okay, no, we talked about engagement. Do you plan your content and your captions at the same time? Yeah, I usually do. I usually will write the caption as soon as I've created the content, but sometimes I'll actually just make a ton of content and I don't take the time to go individually through it. So then I'll upload it and then I'll write the captions from there. But then again, I always think about the goal for the piece of content. So depending on that content's goal, that's how I'll structure the caption. Okay, so Sugar Babe Beauty is going to be our last question. My engagement has recently gone down significantly in likes and views. Is it my content or have I been shadow banned? I would encourage you to, sometimes when you're shadow banned, it could be that you're using the same hashtags every single time. If you're using the same hashtags every single time, you can be penalized because the Instagram algorithm thinks you're a bot. So that's why it's important to have 3 to 5 different sets of hashtags to create. And that's actually what I teach you, how to create those different sets and find an endless stream of hashtags so you don't have this problem. But if your engagement has gone down, it could be a multitude of things, and I'd have to look at your page personally to give you a definitive answer. But it could be, it could be that you're posting the same hashtags. It could be that your content isn't where it needs to be. It could be the followers. So should I use different hashtags and rotate? Yes, every single post you should be using different hashtags with, not only to avoid that problem of being shadow banned, but also because you should be posting different pieces of content. What I mean by that is the empowering, educational, entertaining. So depending on those different types of content, you want to have a different set of hashtags for those. But it sounds like you might need help with that. So I would suggest the Instagram Strategy Masterclass, because that's where I show you how I find hashtags and how to find an endless stream of them. But yeah, it would be kind of hard for you to know what's exactly happening. I'm sorry, I can't look at your page personally, but I would love to, if you'd like, I could do a one-on-one with you if you're interested. Okay, thank you all so much for joining. So we've almost gone 2 hours, so thanks so much for being here, whether you joined in the beginning or you joined recently. It's been so amazing to be here with you all and answer all of your questions. I always have so much fun. So thank you so much. Yay! You watched until the end. Congratulations. Let me know what you think. Go ahead and leave a blue heart down below if you watched this far. Tell me what you learned. Ask me any questions you have, and I'd love to hear your feedback. But yeah, until the next live, I'll talk to you real soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!